Hello there. I'm doing a book review today for a book that was published in 1994. It's a book with a terrible cover and an even more terrible name. However, for some reason it really caught my eye in a second-hand bookstore recently, and I thought I'd try it out and give it a chance. It's written by a man called John Birmingham, and it's all about his experiences living in share housing in Australia during the 1980s and 1990s, the early 90s. And I really enjoyed it. From start to finish, the book was never a drag. It's a real page turner. And I actually finished this book in 5 days. Now that's quick for me. It usually takes me a good 2 weeks to read a book, maybe even 3 weeks, but I knocked this one out in 5 days, and it wasn't a chore at all. I really enjoyed it. It's full of true anecdotes of nightmare flatmates with all of their bad habits and annoying routines, and it speaks about these kind of drifter types who come along, rent out a room, and then cause havoc, complete havoc, and then after a few weeks they disappear and nobody ever sees them again. It's full of stories like that, and it's absolutely fascinating. Memorable chapters in the book for me include a story about this female tenant who actually did a coat hanger abortion in a bathtub. A prostitute tenant, a female prostitute, who used to kind of linger in the hallway waiting for people to come back to the house because she loved telling these stories about her experiences on the street, so everybody avoided her. And also there's a story about this man called the Lizard Man, and he actually lived at John Birmingham's parents' house, just going crazy. And at one point he actually wanted to have a threesome in John Birmingham's parents' living room, and he tried to arrange this threesome. It's just like the last person you would want living in your parents' house. The book is full of stories like that. It's hilarious. John Birmingham has been described as the Australian version of Hunter S. Thompson, the man who wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And I agree with that. It's like this kind of gonzo journalism style. And it also reminded me of Mark Brandon Chopper Reed. Most of you, or some of you, will have seen the film Chopper, the Australian film. That film is based on a man called Mark Brandon Chopper Reed, who used to publish books from prison about all of the funny stories that happened to him as a criminal. And I highly recommend reading his books, by the way. But reading this book reminded me of Chopper, and I actually watched the film Chopper after I finished this book. I hadn't seen it in years. I enjoyed that. No book is perfect, like I always say. There are pictures in this book which I like. I like pictures in books. But there are also kind of captions throughout the book with separate stories. And I found that a bit off-putting because I read the captions, I read the separate stories, but then after I finished that I kind of forgot where I was before, and it kind of ruined the flow of the book a little bit. That was a little criticism of mine. Also, the prose is very non-linear and disorienting. I kind of lost track of what year I was reading about. He kind of goes backwards and forwards a little bit. Also, I will mention that this is very much a man's book. It's like a bloke's book. So, some women might enjoy it, but it's more of a man's book. And I looked on Goodreads, the Goodreads page for this book, and most men leave 5-star reviews for it, and a lot of women leave like 2-star reviews. So if you're a woman, you might not like this book. I'll describe it as a bloke's book. To my surprise, it's actually been turned into a film. That surprises me because it doesn't strike me as a very famous book, but there is a film of this book. I'm yet to watch it. I will watch it, I think, but I'm yet to watch it, so I can't really comment on that. However, I highly recommend this book. Read the book. It's hilarious, and it's full of stories about filth, grime and chaos in share housing in Australia in the 90s, and I love that. The main message of this book is, whatever you do, do not share a house with anyone. Buy your own apartment, buy your own house, and just live alone. That's the main message of the book, okay? Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, check out my free books on Amazon. I've got a whole range of free books, totally free for you to take advantage of and help yourself to. Check them out. I'll be back in another 2 weeks with another book review. In the meantime, try to have a great day on this drifter-filled, chaotic, hilarious rock we call Earth. Goodbye.